also increased by 8%, from 8% in 2017 to 17% in 2022. Bharat is estimated to be a $30 trillion developed economy by 2047, and this is according to preliminary results from the centre's vision document that's being prepared. The estimates will go through some fine-tuning and perhaps revision before the final draft vision document is ready by December. Bharat is currently estimated to be the fifth largest economy with a GDP of $3.7 trillion. Now, there's been a significant surge in hiring demand ahead of the festive season, as over 1.2 lakh job openings were recorded in August and September 2023 across key cities in Bharat. According to a report, there was a 61% year-on-year increase in women applicants during this period. And Jammu and Kashmir wins the award for the best execution and maximum number of events of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. More than 1.75 lakh events have been organized in Jammu and Kashmir with an unbelievable participation of more than 83 lakh citizens. J&K Chief Secretary Dr. Arun Kumar Mehta received the award from Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Kartavya Path. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's set up the big story this evening as we expose the massive K-bogey. It's all propaganda and it's all a bust. Outright rejection of an ISI-sponsored narrative that's being parroted and pushed by an American citizen who's been designated a terrorist by the government of India. On this very special edition of The Right Stand, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to expose this entire K-bogey, this entire gang of goons, criminals running a business network in trying to take just exact money for a false narrative. How exactly is this man, Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, designated a terrorist by the government of India and also the leader of Sikhs for Justice? How is he using gurdwaras to radicalize youth? From where is he getting all this funding? Is this entire referendum bogey getting support, or are the numbers being overtly inflated just to create a certain level of propaganda? CNN News 18's Manoj Kumar Gupta, who's also our group editor security, has accessed some exclusive information through intelligence sources that perhaps answers all these questions. So let's break it down one by one. First up, the first revelation that comes through, this SFJ chief, Gurpatwant Pannun, is running an immigration racket. Secondly, the ISI has got in touch with Pannun after looking at his strategy. The bid to instigate and use youth from Punjab as free labor. The fourth aspect is the idea is to attack perhaps below the belt and insult Bharat. ISI spent nearly $20,000 on a propaganda war, and Pannun is getting this funding, and for this funding he has to show some results, and that's where this entire bogey comes to play. He's actually made gurdwaras propagate anti-India sentiments. ISI's operatives regularly visiting these private gurdwaras in places like the UK and in Canada. OGWs have been created through this modus in border areas in Bharat. Now, this is what we are given to understand as the intel source tells the News 18 network. Also, now let's try and take a look at this entire funding aspect. How is the K gang getting this funding? How are they making the money, and how it is nothing but a glorified racket to corrupt young minds and also to run a propaganda that fills their purses? Pannun is an American citizen, and he is misusing his access to the UK, Canada. The ISI majorly funding Pannun through donations by the youth. Funds are actually transferred from the UK and Canada for targeted attacks in Bharat. The ISI earns money through cross-border narco business or drugs business. The ISI is sending drugs and weapons through drones regularly. So it's all a large business affair wherein some of the lower level ISI operatives are also making a quick buck at the cost of the youth of Bharat and of course the social fabric of Bharat. Now the super scoop on this entire referendum 2020 bogey that will actually stun you, ladies and gentlemen, because all the numbers are inflated and inflated exponentially, and this entire support is all fake. Have a look at this information that we've accessed here on the network. Gurpatwant Pannun creating fake numbers for votes for this entire referendum bogey. On September 10th in Canada, for example, Pannun managed just 2,300 votes. And what was the claim? The claim is that he got 135,000 votes. On the 29th of October 2020, the referendum just got about 2,000 votes. But the SFJ had at that time claimed that they had received 2 lakh votes. Now, a pro-Khalistan rally was also organized in Canada on Sunday that also failed miserably. It was an old set of people who were present in the rally only. There were no new groups that participated in this rally. The K group was able to collect just about 2,000 votes again, and for this entire referendum bogey, but they claim to have collected nearly 2 lakh votes. So you see the difference, ladies and gentlemen. This 2020 referendum on ground in terms of actual number of votes is not getting much. But here's what they're doing. They are bulldozing their way through, trying to take over certain gurudwaras which are run privately, and they're even replacing the pictures of the gurus with those who are wanted terrorists. They are putting arms, weaponry and messaging which is only corrupting the minds of the youth who perhaps do not know the phenomenal history of the Sikhs and how closely it is linked to Bharat and of course the Hindu way of life. So, we expose this K-bogey tonight. Joining us this evening, Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, Ramneek Singh Maan, activist, Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar also joins us, former diplomat. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. Ramneek Maan, we have discussed in the past that this is nothing but a glorified business. But look at the numbers that are inflated, more than 200 times in some cases.
Okay, Sat Shri Akal, Namaste and Jai Hind. So Anand, I have always maintained whether it is the Kashmir or the Khalistan bogey, they are just mere showrooms or a business platform, the people who are propagating these propagandas globally. You know, as a matter of fact, this has been a money collecting business, not just in the recent past, but from a very long time. And the people who are perpetrating or conducting these businesses are, you know, neck deep, and they are together, especially when you talk about the Pakistani ISI and the Khalistanis. They are in cahoots with each other. You look at the people who are the faces of this, Khalistan business. Whether it is, Gurpatwant Pannun, or whether it is, Ravi Khalsa, or whether it is WSO, all these people, when you talk about the elections or you talk about the referendum, they've never been able to come out with the results, the true, correct results of these referendums. These referendums cannot be taken on their face value. They cannot be taken seriously because they are not UN mandated. These referendums are privately conducted referendums, and there are politicians, there are diplomats, there are, agencies, there are countries which are involved in trying to destabilize India and deny India its rightful place on the global platform. But they forget that they can delay the arrival of India, or they can never deny India its rightful position. They're just trying to delay it by propagating such people. Let's talk about Sukh Taliwal. Sukh Taliwal, an MP who's a Khalistan propagandist and who supports the Khalistani elements. When he stood for mayor for Surrey. He stood 5th in the election. 5th. And brother Gurpatwant Singh, Jagmeet Singh's brother Gurpatwant Singh, he lost from Brampton when he stood for an MLA. That's their reality. WSO's Jaskaran Sandhu, he's an advocate. He contested for a councillor, civic body councillor from Brampton. He again lost. So this is how, the people in that area have been giving them replies. And Jagmeet Singh in the last election, his NDP, it came down 10 seats, I think from 35 to 25, and this time they will lose even further. But not just that they are going down, they are also taking Trudeau down. The fact is that Trudeau's ratings, his approval ratings are at the lowest ever. They are the lowest ever for any Canadian Prime Minister, thanks to these Khalistani elements. So these are the people who have received patronage over the years from the Canadian government as well as from the Americans. When I say Americans, I clearly refer to Gurpatwant Pannun and his all his statements. He has never been tried, prosecuted. India and Canada have a MLAT, that's a Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty.
Yes.
And India has given a lot of evidences to the Canadians. We have issued red corner notices, Interpol notices, but every time they say these evidences are insufficient, and then they ask India to cooperate. They are who have not been cooperating. Had they sent these criminals back to India to face trial, things would have been much better for the Canadians within Canada. So the Western countries need to take a very serious relook at the way they operate when it comes to the Khalistani elements, especially in the light that no Khalistani ever has been tried. Forget, there has been no case registered, there has been no action taken, there has been no trial, there has been no prosecution, there has been no punishment. As a matter of fact, Kanishka bombings have remained unpunished in Canada. There were two primary witnesses in the Kanishka bombing. One was Tarsem Singh Purewal. He was assassinated by these Khalistanis in UK. The second was Tara Singh Hair. Tara Singh Hair, there were two attempts on his life. The first attempt got him paralyzed, and the second attempt they got him. So these are the people who would turn around and kill their own people when they are not in tune with them. They don't sink in them. So the Western countries for once really need to take a relook on their stand when it comes to the separatist elements and Khalistanis within their own system. I know their system has been infiltrated by these K elements, and the entire system, not from today but for last 40 years, is rotten to the core, and it really needs to be redone, and it really needs to be rebuilt all over again.
No, we've just got news before I go across to Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar. We've just got news coming to you, Vikram Singh ji and Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar. Now, we're given to understand that Gurpatwant Pannun has actually confessed Justin Trudeau's support. Now, this is word coming through via our investigations editor, group editor security Manoj Gupta here, and this is a CNN News 18 exclusive. Pannun in his statement and that address has said that Prime Minister Trudeau has created a more open conversation around Bharat and its handling of the Khalistani independence movement while allowing its supporters to become more vocal without the fear of retribution. Now, on multiple occasions, we've broken the story of how Trudeau is actually openly pandering to these elements, these secessionist elements, and allowing their movement freely in Canada. And more importantly, not cooperating in investigations despite the fact that they are declared proclaimed offenders and under investigation and with RCNs against them. Now, Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar, why will Canada do it? Clearly, it's more to it than just $20,000.
No, definitely it's much more than $20,000. First of all, Anand, thank you for having me on your show. I think there are a large number of not in terms of pressure, but large number of incentives for many of these people who are involved. As has been mentioned, and it has been my personal experience also, in a large number of countries that I've worked, whether it is in Washington, D.C., whether it is in Brussels, or some of the other places, that ISI is number one, very, very active. ISI is they are looking for obviously opportunities, the way they can malign India, the way they can work against India, and of course the manner in which India has been growing over the last several years. That is obviously anathema to them. In the United States, there have been people, Ghulam Nabi Fai, who was working on the issue of Kashmir. And even in the European Parliament, when I was in Brussels, he was the one who was active. And he would not acknowledge or accept that he was receiving funding from the ISI. But in the United States, it was proven there was a case against him. He was charged and then he was convicted for this, having accepted money and funds from the ISI. So that is definitely one particular angle as far as Canada is concerned and as far as the Khalistan bogey there is concerned. Secondly, you would recall that when, this whole issue of India's alleged involvement in the killing of this Harjeet Singh Nijjar was concerned, and the matter was brought to India in front of Indian officials, what the Indian official spokesperson had said that these charges are absurd and they are motivated. What our external affairs minister has said that India does not engage itself in such activities. So, as far as India is concerned, it is very clear that we are not involved in it. But when we say that it is politically motivated, it means there are political compulsions of Justin Trudeau. All of us know that he...
But Ambassador Sajjan, I regret my interruption there.
No, please.
But please explain to us and to our viewers, how is this helping our cause? How is the statement and position that we're taking, and how is it that allowing such elements a free run on Canadian soil with a huge Indian diaspora, how is this helping our cause? Aren't they
it is... You're very right. You're very right, Anand, when you say that, we have to, put pressure, we have to apply pressure as far as Canada is concerned. And, that this environment of permissiveness that is prevailing, that is pervading in Canada, I don't think that can be allowed to go on for any longer, because, when we have... whether it is the images of the Prime Minister, of the External Affairs Minister, of our High Commissioner, they are put on posters and there are calls.
No, he has, sir, yesterday, and there are more rallies. We are given to understand that they have now promised him, and he's announced that they are actually allowing him more rallies in some of these regions. And he has openly said that in Edmonton and some of the other places, he is going to he's going to get more permissions to carry out more rallies, and they're going to extend it. Now, this is something which should be a concern for all of us. And he has said, as an American citizen, he is telling Canadians that I will reward anybody who gets an Indian diplomat in handcuffs.
So I think this really brings out, Anand, the hypocrisy of the Canadian authorities, particularly Mr. Justin Trudeau, when he says that, we are going to allow freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But this is not freedom of speech. This is, inciting violence. This is threatening. This is intimidating. And this is last time also he had offered $40,000 for killing any of these main people that... so definitely, India's pressure against against Canada and against these elements, that has to continue. India cannot backtrack on what it has done. And I think we can see that whether it is in terms of seeking parity as far as the diplomatic representation in the two countries, whether it's in terms of numbers or level of representation, I think all that is there.
No, but the fact is he's an American citizen, and we have not raised this issue with the Americans yet. We have not raised it with them, saying that this is somebody who's designated a terrorist by us and you're still allowing him a free run. But Vikram Singh ji, the other aspect is this is all a lie. उसको आप जितने भी पैसे दे दो, उसको 1500-1700 से ज़्यादा लोग वोट नहीं मिल रहे हैं. It's not happening in the UK, it's not happening anywhere. So he's a dud.
Anandji, good evening, and I'm in total agreement with the esteemed panelist, Mr. Maan, and Ambassador Sajjan Sir. You're very right. Gurpatwant Singh Pannun is a known thug, and he has exposed himself and the game plan of the ISI. Why he's getting? Because there is a purpose. Nothing happens because accidentally, or nothing happens without a purpose. Now, I will just take another 30 seconds to explain that the footprints of the ISI are very clear. How they propped up Dawood Ibrahim, a son of a retired head constable of Mumbai police. Nothing wrong in that. But the ISI not only groomed him, but made him the biggest drug dealer and smuggler in the world, and a proclaimed offender, and a UN offender at that. But and in similar manner, the way ISI has propped up Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, and the way he managed to get the disturbances done on 26th of January 2 years ago is known to one and all. How he propped up and how the ISI also propped up Amritpal Singh from Dubai and para-dropped him in Punjab and then supported him in logistics and intelligence, that is known to one and all. And you would see the moment Amritpal Singh was arrested, things are very much under control. And to talk of Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, I take you back to 12th April 1980 when Jagjit Singh Chauhan, the self-proclaimed president of the Khalistan, leader of Khalistan, what was the reason? Pure economics. Nothing to do with the hoary and prestigious and the most pristine Sikh philosophy. It was only the laws of economics that were working for Jagdish Singh Ungesh, and it is no different for Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. The dollars and the fake dollars printed by the ISI given to Jagdish Singh Chauhan, and what you said, human trafficking. You name it and you tell me. Free workers, as also the fact that musical troops would go in numbers of about 100 and 80 would disappear and go underground. This is the standard operating procedure of human trafficking, fake American currency, fake Indian currency, and also of human trafficking. Drugs, it is anybody's business that ISI is the biggest drug smuggler on the planet today, because what they get from Afghanistan, the conduit is the ISI, and they are responsible for marketing it and getting and reaping the profits. Now, to come back to Pannun, do you think for a moment it is only the ISI? I would go a little deeper. Justin Trudeau has not covered himself with glory. The way they felicitated and gave top honor of the country to an ex-Nazi in the parliament goes to show the level of the homework that they do. Now, again, in case of Gurpatwant Singh Pannun in America and others in Canada, if you are a member of the I-5, you are privy to the most sensitive information. I would have been very happy if you could give cogent and convincing evidence in respect of any evidence of the complicity of our diplomats in Canada or anybody from India who's responsible. We don't do things like it. Ambassador Sajjan Harmon, no, it is too demeaning. We don't, what to talk of doing it, we don't even look that way.
No, but see, all of these aspects is something that the Canadians, it's not that they don't know. They have decided that they are going down on a path. Even in the UK, he can be seen along with some of the other K elements, K gangsters and goons being engaging directly with the Pakistanis with the posters, with the kind of messaging which is there, which clearly outlines the K2 strategy of the Pakistanis. It's there. The Pakistanis harbor that, and these elements are sitting there. So they are inimical to Bharat. My point is, on the one hand, you want to be friends with Bharat. On the other hand, you are putting all those elements who want a secession or the breaking up of Bharat. How is this possible? The other thing is, this guy is a bogus. This guy can't deliver. He cannot do anything for us. He is not doing anything for them. He is just making money off them. ये भी तो expose हो गए हैं रमनीक मान. And the other thing is, on the garb of Sikhi, how can these people use bulldoze, use private gurdwaras to keep things which are not supposed to be in a gurdwara, and highlight pictures and put posters of people who are not any of the 10 gurus? How is it that this is okay and nobody who are custodians of Sikhi and the Sikhs are not allowed, are not alarmed by it? Ramnik Man.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question. I lost the line for a brief
I'm just
moment.
saying that them using and them cannibalizing or trying to co-opt these private gurdwaras, like what they have tried to do in Southall, although there are some amendments there, what they are doing in Surrey. You know, people are stopping going to gurdwaras because of the kind of atmosphere that they are creating there. And they are putting pressure on those who go there to pray that they have to do a salute in front of the gun and Bhindranwala and some of the others who should never be put up or glorified inside a place of worship.
Okay, so let me put this in perspective from the religious angle. You know, we in the Sikhi believe, because the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Sahib Sache Paatshah from Nanded on October 1708 had stated, आज्ञा पही अकाल की तबह चलायो पंथ सब सिखन को हुक्म है गुरु मान्यो ग्रंथ. So and then he goes on to say in the verse, गुरु ग्रंथ जी मान्यो प्रकट गुरह की दे जो प्रभ को मिल बोच है खोज शब्द में ले राज करेगा खालसा आकी रहे ना कोई ख्वार होए सब मिलेंगे बचे शरण जो होए. So he's talking about the Sabd Guru. the Sharan of Guru Granth Sahib Sache Pasha, there is no other Guru than the Guru Granth Sahib. There is no living Guru. There can never be a 11th Guru after the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Sahib Sache Pasha. And idealizing any individual, any person is against the basic tenets of Sikhi. And if you were to celebrate somebody as the Jathedar or as the Mukhi of Damdami Taksal, then you should go forward and celebrate Baba Deep Singh, Shaheed Baba Deep Singh. And if you were to celebrate Shaheed Baba Deep Singh, you should celebrate the Guru himself. And when the Guru has ordered you to believe in the Shabd Guru, Guru Granth Sahib, so there is no question of saluting or bowing before anyone except Guru Granth Sahib Sache Pacha. That is amongst the Sikhs. Anybody who tells you to do anything otherwise is not a Sikh. Any place where an individual is revered beyond Guru Granth Sahib cannot be a Gurdwara Sahib. Let's be very clear on that, number one. Number two, now when you say that people have stopped going to Gurdwaras because of these people, they have also outrightly rejected these Khalistan.
Correct, that's true.
Whether it is several Gurdwara Sahibs in Canada or the USA, people have rejected, new committees are taking over. That is one reason why the SGPC is also losing its grip. Because they have been supporting such K elements and people who have been against the basic tenets of Sikhi. So now again, previously I was stating, Anand, that the Western countries need to wake up and smell their coffee. Because these snakes that they rear in their courtyard will come back and bite them.
And not just that.
And again, similarly, we also...
We also, I'm sorry I'm interrupting because I've run out of time. I'm just saying that we also need to call these people out and outrightly become a little more vocal when we reject these elements collectively as a community, as a nation together. Gentlemen, I have to wind up on that note. Thank you very, very much for joining us on this very exclusive broadcast. And we've continued to do our bit to expose these elements, these gangsters and goons who have made a business out of faith and also the social fabric of Bharat. Taking a very short break. When we come back, we meet the change makers, the people who've been really toiling hard at the back end in Jammu and Kashmir. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Streets of the state capital. Behind me you can see the poster of Mr. Kamal Nath saying that Sashakt Beti Samrit Nari, the Congress big promise of rupees 1500 for women per month and a gas cylinder at rupees 500. But just in the front of it you will see the posters of the BJP. BJP promising the ongoing Ladli Behna Yojana of the BJP at rupees 1250 per month for women in the state, and with Mr. Big picture of Mr. Modi, the BJP promising that this amount will be increased to rupees 3,000 in due course if the BJP comes again to power. Go across Bhopal and you will find these two kind of posters all over the city, some of them juxtaposed against each other, both the parties trying to woo the women in this freebies war, and also the BJP's promise of, you'll find also the many of these posters of the BJP promising a gas cylinder at rupees 450, which is 50 rupees lesser than what Mr. Kamal Nath is promising. Another key difference though between these two posters is that on the posters of the Congress, which the BJP is promising, which the BJP is highlighting in fact, that there is only the picture of Mr. Kamal Nath. The BJP says the Congress has no other leader except Kamal Nath. It is facing a paucity of leaders. While if you see the BJP's poster, you will see all their major leaders' faces on the poster. There is Mr. Modi, there is Mr. JP Nadda, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar, Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, Mr. VD Sharma, Kailash Vijayvargiya. So in a way, BJP saying it has a galaxy of leaders in Madhya Pradesh, also throwing open the chief ministerial question that who becomes the chief minister if the BJP wins. But on the Congress poster, there is only one face and there seems to be no confusion on who will be the chief minister if the Congress wins. Who will be able to woo the woman with this freebie war, freebie poster war, I would rather say, on the streets of Bhopal, we would know on December the 3rd. I am joined by Madhya Pradesh Congress spokesperson Mr. Anand Jat. आनंद जी पूरे भोपाल में घूमे तो दो तरह के पोस्टर का तरफ फ्रीबी वॉर लगता है, कांग्रेस का एक तरफ, कमलनाथ जी का एक तरफ, बीजेपी का कांग्रेस कमलनाथ जी कह रहे हैं 1500 रुपये वुमेन को देंगे, 500 रुपये में सिलेंडर देंगे। बीजेपी कह रही है हम तो ऑलरेडी 1250 दे रहे हैं, 3000 कर देंगे, 450 में सिलेंडर देंगे। तो क्यों आपके पोस्टर का क्यों जनता की विश्वास करेगी, बीजेपी का क्यों नहीं करेगी?
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी जो कहती है वो करके रहती है, और वचन के पक्के कमलनाथ हैं एक तरफ और दूसरी तरफ घोषणावीर मामा है। तो झूठी घोषणाओं के कारण मामा ने मध्य प्रदेश को वाशिंगटन से अच्छी सड़कें अमेरिका तक में बदनाम कर रखा है। तो दोनों का कोई मैच नहीं है। दूसरी बात यह है कि जब हम देखते हैं तो 1500 रुपये हम हिमाचल प्रदेश में भी माताओं बहनों को दे रहे हैं, 500 रुपये का गैस का सिलेंडर हम राजस्थान में दे रहे हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी। तो ऐसा क्यों होगा कि मध्य प्रदेश में भाजपा 450 में गैस का सिलेंडर दे रही है और उत्तराखंड वालों ने क्या बिगाड़ दिया है जो उनको 900 रुपये का गैस का सिलेंडर दिया जा रहा है? बहुत बेसिक सा सवाल है मेरा कि महाराष्ट्र में क्यों 900 रुपये का गैस का सिलेंडर है? क्या वहाँ भाजपा की सरकार नहीं है? तो ये जैसे मोदी जी एक दिन आए थे और भोपाल में कह रहे थे कि भाजपा की सरकार है, जहाँ जहाँ है वहाँ पेट्रोल 100 रुपये से कम है। आप मध्य प्रदेश के किसी भी पेट्रोल पंप पर पूछ लीजिए, 109 रुपये पेट्रोल है। तो क्या मध्य प्रदेश की जो सरकार है वो भाजपा की सरकार?
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this very, very special presentation. And it's happened because things are changing on ground in Jammu and Kashmir, ladies and gentlemen. This is an iconic moment for me personally, right at the backdrop of the Char Chinar, bang in the middle of the Dal Lake, on board a cruise with some of the most important members from the administrative setup of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, because they are who we call the Changemakers. We have on the far end Said Rashid, Secretary Tourism and Culture Department. We also have Ms. Mandeep Kaur, Commissioner and Secretary Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. We have the PS Education, Alok Kumarji. We also have somebody who's right in the thick of all action. He's the Additional Director General of Police, Mr. Vijay Kumar. Vijayji, namaste. And here to my left is Sarmad Hafiz, Secretary Youth Services and Sports Department. And we have Akshay Labru, Deputy Commissioner Badgam. So let's start the conversation, and I'll start with you, Mandeepji. At the grassroots level, and all of you have worked together to work change. What has changed, and what perhaps for you has been the biggest challenge?
See, the biggest change which has come post 370, in fact, across J&K, so much work has been done at the panchayat level, and so much funds have been devolved that this year panchayats are completing their 5 years. Last panchayat elections were quite a big challenge for the administration because a lot of people were to be encouraged, motivated to take part in the elections. Voter turnout was a challenge. But this year I'm quite sure that elections, whenever they happen, it's going to be quite interesting with a lot of participation, lot of hope from the youth, and a lot of good results we will be seeing.
Two parts there. One is I don't want to be a part of it. Two, I want to be a part of it. Has that happened? And the participation of women, has that also increased?
Participation of women, of course, at the panchayat level, women participation has been there. If I talk of rural development, lot of participation in terms of rural livelihood mission, which is the scheme being implemented by Rural Development Department, in which close to 6 lakh women are participating. At the panchayat level, lot of involvement of women PRI members have always been there. We keep talking about proxy, sarpanches. But in J&K, I can say, barring few exceptions, lot of participation and lot of empowerment of women PRIs has happened.
Malokji, you see that as with respect to education, there was a fear among teachers. Has that all changed?
It has changed a lot. If you ask me, prior to 2019, the schools would remain closed for a large part of the year. Maximum of 128 to 150 days depending upon the situation. Some event happening somewhere and the first casualty would be the school. The schools would be closed. For last 3 years, we have been able to achieve open school for 220 days.
So attendance बढ़ गया है sir?
देखिए attendance का एक problem था. हम लोगों ने biometric लगाया था, biometric पहले भी लगा था, but that was I would say some manipulations were done. So we came forward with a cloud-based app system, which is new of its kind. every child and every teacher has been given a password, and the attendance is taken on a daily basis depending upon the coordinates of the school. And this cannot be manipulated. So the attendance has increased manifold.
ये जो दो आप जो कह रहे हैं यहाँ डीसी से ही पूछ लेते हैं implementation on ground. Akshay, quickly, if I were to ask you, is this?
I mean, Anand, you're absolutely right. In the field, if you look at the situation, earlier the situation that Alok sir was just pointing out was about schools being shut down, children not being able to go there. Now the aspiration of the parents and the children is something different. They want every school to be upgraded to the best of the abilities of the government. Everybody wants a smart class to the next of available technology. So aspiration have changed, and that's because the normalcy in the field is extremely visible. And in fact, I keep referring to Alok sir कि हमारे उस school में ये facility थोड़ी और upgrade करवा दीजिए. Because the kids and the local community are looking at upgrading their aspirations to that level.
I have to say thank you to Abid for helping this happen, because this is special. But also in the last 3.5 or 4 years, I have seen more of SKICC and more talk about SKICC than ever before. So what's changed with respect to tourism? The footfall is also a record turnaround, and perhaps it was the lifeline of this region, isn't it? Tourism. So let's talk about
Anand, tourism has traditionally been the backbone of our economy. It contributes to, somewhere on latest surveys suggest that it contributes to 7.4% of our GSDP, plus livelihood opportunities to 2.2 million people directly and indirectly.
that's a lot of them,
In the last few years, since 19, there has been a transformational change in tourism. This year we anticipate record highest numbers ever, which is going to surpass 2 crores. Kindly note that the population of J&K is 1.4 crore and our tourism figures are 2 crore plus. See, earlier there would be these sporadic episodes of violence, episodes where you would not feel comfortable coming to Jammu and Kashmir. The numbers speak. So year on year, right from 19 to this point, the numbers have an astronomical rise. And it has a very direct and clear linkage with the overall peaceful environment and ecosystem in Jammu and Kashmir. So that is important.
Pat yourself and your team on the back. So,
Number two, because of what we have done in terms of policy initiatives, what the government of J&K, with the very active support of the government of India, has done in this sector over the last few years has been transformational. So we have had these traditional destinations that people used to go to. You would have also gone there, Gulmarg, Pahalgam, Patni-Top, Sonmarg. This year what we have done is we have done 300 new destinations. It's a mind-boggling initiative.
Are they doing something for Badgam?
Yeah, in fact, I was just about to ask you to let me intervene.
Please.
Gulmarg, Pahalgam, everybody's been there. There's a destination called Dudhpatri in Badgam.
Yes.
Last year, we had 8 lakh people coming in.
Correct.
We have not yet completed the year, and 25 lakh people have already come.
Wow,
and
fantastic.
It's a pressure for us.
I'll tell you what, I was told कि कोई नई जगह देखनी है बोले सर आप दूधपत्री जाइए. So that was most mentioned, I'll be honest.
But the second thing.
Now that I know Akshay, next time we'll go.
Second thing that Abid sir was pointing out, religious tourism, heritage tourism. There was a shrine in Badgam which was still called Baba Hanif Shrine at Ratsun.
Yes.
It was attacked during the militancy phase, and today that same shrine has been rebuilt and restored to its pristine glory thanks to the intervention of tourism department as well as the divisional administration. Similarly, there's a cave called Bhairav Cave, which is in Birwa.
Yeah, Birwa.
Which is of Sri Abhinav Guptji.
Yeah.
It was a cave located there for hundreds of years, but now you have access infrastructure to go there and see where the philosophy of Shaivism was actually taken up. And that's again a part of that heritage tourism.
So I have one important.
So this is all part of my bucket list, and these two gentlemen have to make it happen.
Absolutely. So one of the best things that possibly happened to Jammu and Kashmir was the G20 event. The G20 Third Tourism Working Group happened here in the presidency of our country, and the numerics are astonishing. We are just 2 quarters after that, and the numbers, particularly of foreign tourists, of inbound tourists, are huge. In the last 30 years, year on year, today I'm seeing a 300% increase in the number of tourists who are inbound, foreign tourists.
Fantastic. So now let me bring in the two gentlemen who have been quiet. Sir, तारीफ सुनकर तो बहुत खुश हो रहे होंगे आप, but this is not, this must not have been easy. I think somewhere this is also, and being very honest here, is testimony to the sacrifice made by the personnel of Jammu and Kashmir police. It's not largely spoken about. Because when you're putting your life on the line, secondly, there is also this whole thing within society that they are part of, that they were always shunned. But now is there respect? Has that changed? वहीं से शुरू करते हैं जी.
टूरिस्ट हो या लोकल हो, सारे घूमते रहते हैं बिना किसी डर का, तो लगता है कि सचमुच में पीस आ गई है. आज बहुत बदला है, ड्रास्टिक चेंज आया है, खुशी मिलती है और काम करने की प्रेरणा मिलती है. ऑब्वियसली इस अचीवमेंट के लिए जो जितने सिक्योरिटी फोर्स पर्सनल, पुलिस पर्सनल सेक्रीफाइस दिया, सबको हम लोग अभिनंदन करते हैं, प्रणाम करते हैं उनको, हम लोग उनकी सेक्रीफाइस को. उन्हीं की बदौलत जो आज शांति आई है. इसका मतलब नहीं कि सिक्योरिटी फोर्स पुलिस यहीं रुक जाएगी, काम और करना पड़ेगा. टारगेट ऐसा करना है, ऐसा लाना है कि लोगों के, आवाम के दिमाग से दिल से डर खत्म हो जाए. रात हो दिन हो, जैसे कि रेस्ट ऑफ कंट्री में लोग घूमते वैसे घूमे, टूरिस्ट भी आए, रिमोट एरिया में जाए, और जितने भी जो टाइप का थ्रेट है, खासकर ऑनलाइन थ्रेट है, वो बंद हो जाए. अभी भी बहुत सारे जर्नलिस्ट को या जो टीचर्स होते हैं, रिमोट एरिया में काम करते हैं, एनजीओ, उनको भी थ्रेट मिलता है, लोग घबरा जाते हैं ऑनलाइन. तो घबराना नहीं चाहिए. ये लोग फेक न्यूज चल रहा है, केएमएस के थ्रू होता है, चाहे कश्मीर फाइट.
देखिए, जर्नलिस्ट ट्रोल होते हैं, थ्रेट होते हैं, ठीक है. टीचर्स और जो ग्राउंड पे काम करने वाले लोग हैं, उनको तो उनको नहीं.
हाँ, तो उसके लिए हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं. तो ऐसा माहौल क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं हम लोग कि किसी को डर न हो, हर एक लोग बिना डर का काम करे.
क्योंकि एक सही मायने में अगर देखा जाए तो जन भागीदारी है एक इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है, और यहीं पे स्पोर्ट्स कम्स इनटू प्ले, स्पोर्ट कल्चर कम्स इनटू प्लेस. हाउ डू आई चैनलाइज एनर्जी, how do I channelize and wean away, because drug addiction is a huge issue on ground. मैं कई सारे youth से भी बात कर रहा था, and let's talk about that a little more in terms of engaging the youngsters and the youth. It is very heartening for me कि खेल रहे हैं. आज सुबह भी हम जहाँ नाश्ता करने गए, पूरा एक ग्रुप आया, फुटबॉल खेल के आया. तो it was amazing to see, Sarmat, because this was not there earlier.
नहीं, जैसा आपने कहा, you said it in the introduction also, I think there has been an unprecedented growth in sports. और आप देख रहे हैं, it's visible on the ground, it's visible.
Really talented kids.
Absolutely,
really talented
we
kids.
had so much talent. All they required was some platform, they required some encouragement, they required the right kind of coaching and infrastructure, and that is what is being provided. I think we have had one thing that we missed out on. I must compliment all my colleagues here also. What we've had, he also just mentioned it in the forces, which is complete synergy between departments. It's an all of government approach. That is the thing that we're working on. That is what our leadership has told us to do. Like, for example, I'll tell you that we have now panchayat playgrounds. Every panchayat has a playground, or every panchayat has some kind of sporting facility, and it's not just done by the sports department.
But is it being used?
Is the rural development department.
It is being used.
Absolutely used. We had, I'll just give you an example, like 3-4 years ago, we had about an engagement of about 5 lakh youth who would participate in sporting activities. Last year, it was an unprecedented 60 lakhs.
60 lakhs.
And
this year, I think it's 78 lakhs.
This year, the target was 70, and we've already crossed around 54. And it's out visible out on the street. We can see how kids are out playing like you mentioned, early in the morning, late at night. Some infrastructure has been created. For example, we did not have a single floodlit stadium here. Now we have more than 60 floodlit stadiums and playgrounds.
That means there's electricity also.
Electricity
in
those,
and
this is not just in the cities. This is not just in the bigger towns. If you look at the rural areas, if you go to Sopore, for example, Sopore was an area, I like to give that example, which was out of bounds some years ago.
Yeah.
And today, if you go, you'll see that around 15,000, a crowd of 15,000 people watching a football match being played under lights. I think that gives you an example of the tremendous change that you see outside.
But what I want to ask you is, one is that you create grounds, you create infrastructure, but people have to come.
I'll just add something to it.
Please.
What he said. So I was also surprised to see in couple of districts we visit, in the districts like Kulgam, Shopaiya, Pulwama, which used to be hotbed of terrorism, Kishtwar, couple of areas which were again very strong centers of militancy. In all these districts, now all these playgrounds have come up under MG Narega. A lot of funds have been invested. Wastelands, which have been now converted into playgrounds. So wherever we go, there is more and more demand for playgrounds. And very recently when I asked them, ki yahan, as you said, ki khelne kaun aata hai? People are coming from other states. The place like Padar, which is in like from Kishtwar also further ahead you go, people from teams have from Chandigarh, teams from many other states have come to participate. And I was surprised to know that the prize money goes to more than 10 lakhs.
Wow.
And when I asked them who pays for this is collection, collective contribution from the people over there.
I might add, not
all
just
the teams.
not just the leagues, but the national games. This year we are hoping to have about 25 national games. In fact, only tomorrow we have 3 national school games which are starting tomorrow, and we have people, some 5,000 school students from all over the country who are participating in that.
इतना तो आपने कर दिया, अब क्या करना बाकी है? इससे पहले कि ये तैयारी हो जाए कि भाई यूटी से फिर स्टेटहुड या फिर इलेक्शंस और एक डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नेंस आ जाए, क्या क्या करना बाकी है कि सिस्टम की एक तरीके से एक ऐसा सिस्टम आ जाए कि चाहे जो भी लीडरशिप हो, जैसा भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हो, इट विल गेट इम्प्लीमेंटेड? जी
देखिए, जो पुलिस फोर्सेस, सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस है उसको मेंटेन करते रहना चाहिए। जो प्रेशर है सर्वेलेंस करने का, जो ह्यूमन इंटेग्रिटी का, उसको हम लोग हरदम बनाए रखना पड़ेगा।
तो अब रजौरी पुंछ में भी वैसा ही ग्रिड बन रहा है जैसे जम्मू और
ऑलरेडी वहाँ बन चुका है, जो कश्मीर में वैसा वहाँ बन चुका है। और जो यूनिफाइड कमांड मीटिंग होती है, एनर्जी के साथ सारे फोर्स मिलकर काम करते हैं, जिसको बनाए रखना पड़ेगा। पूरा ह्यूमनिटी पर बहुत फोकस करना पड़ेगा हम लोग को। टेक्निक में प्रॉब्लम आ गई है, ह्यूमनिटी को जेंट करना पड़ेगा। इसमें हम लोग जो नंबरदार चौकीदार जो है नई भर्ती हुए उनको ला रहे हैं। थाना उनका मंथली मीटिंग होता है, वो इनपुट भी देना शुरू किए हैं। और गवर्नमेंट के जो बाकी डिपार्टमेंट है, सेक्रेटरी फॉर पुलिस मिलकर काम करती है। एक ऐसा काम है जो सारे मिलकर काम करना पड़ता है, तो ये प्रेशर बना रहेगा। नए लड़के ज्वाइन भी करते रहेंगे बीच में कुछ, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान बैठा रहेगा, वो हरदम उनका प्रयास रहेगा कि क्रिटिकल नंबर टेररिस्ट का बनाए रखे। जैसे आज डेट में 32 टेररिस्ट बच गया लोकल, ऐसा कभी हुआ है। ऑल टाइम लोएस्ट टेररिज्म यहाँ पर है, टेररिस्ट का नंबर है। वो चाहेगा कि नंबर बढ़ाए। मैं एक चीज़ शेयर करना भूल गया था आपसे कि 2018 में 200+ लड़की ज्वाइन किए थे मिलिट्री, ठीक है। लास्ट ईयर भी 102 कर दिया। इस साल अभी तक में 9 ज्वाइन किया है, 10 मंथ में। और हम लोग प्रयास करेंगे कि अगर ये 10-12 तक रुक जाए दिसंबर तक, बहुत अचीवमेंट होगा। और इसमें सिर्फ पुलिस का इतना रोल नहीं जितना कि पेरेंट्स का रोल है,
पेरेंट्स है और सोसाइटी का रोल है।
और हर एक डिपार्टमेंट जो काम कर रही है और पीस का जो बेनिफिट मिल रहा है, लड़की देख रहे हैं उनको। आप विश्वास नहीं करेंगे कि टेररिस्ट बहुत सारे इनकाउंटर में घर वालों ने टेररिस्ट के घर से बाहर निकाल दिया, ताला बंद कर दिया उसका। और हमारे ड्रोन में वीडियोग्राफी में आया कि घर के बाहर मारा गया, क्योंकि हम लोग प्रॉपर्टी को अटैच करना शुरू कर दिए। तो उसका भी इम्पैक्ट पड़ा है। लेकिन घर वाला भी चाहता है कि उसका प्रॉपर्टी अटैच हो जाए, घर डिमोलिश हो जाए। तो आवाम का जो सहयोग मिलना शुरू हो गया, उसका बहुत इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहा है। ड्रग्स पे इसको बढ़ाए रखना पड़ेगा। और बाकी डिपार्टमेंट जैसे एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट है, स्पोर्ट्स डिपार्टमेंट है, इंफॉर्मेशन डिपार्टमेंट, ये भी अपना अच्छा काम कर रहा है। दिशा में सारे मिलकर काम कर रहा है, उसका ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा। जैसा कि हमारे एलजी साहब बोलते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट का होल गवर्नमेंट अप्रोच जो है, होलिस्टिक अप्रोच, और बनाए रखेंगे हम लोग।
तो लेकिन ये एक और 6 months 1 year का प्रोसेस है जब तक कि थोड़ा सा और शेप ले ले, फॉर्मुलेट हो जाए, या फिर इज इट गोइंग टू बी अ लिटिल मोर? आलोक जी, I'll just
say, आपने कहा patting our own back. No. I'll talk about education. We have developed an app called Samiksha, where we ask the students to assess the teachers, and we ask the students to assess the schools also. अभी हम क्लास 6 से ऊपर करा रहे हैं। We will introduce it at the lower classes also, जिसमें हम पेरेंट्स की भागीदारी कराएंगे। We have essentially transferred the levels of governance and assessment to the people. अगर कोई कहता है कि स्कूल में पढ़ाई खराब हो रही है, तो आप मुझे बताइए, आप बता दीजिए कि स्कूल में पढ़ाई खराब हो रही है। ये जो क्वेश्चंस के सेट्स हैं, उसमें हम ये पूछते हैं बच्चों से, और उसको मैनिपुलेट नहीं होने देते हैं, क्योंकि उसे OTP ऑथेंटिकेशन में घर पर भेजता हूँ। And then they write, this is the first of its kind which we have introduced here.
तो यानी वहाँ टीचर की दादागिरी भी नहीं चलेगी,
वो नहीं चलेगी। और मेरे पास उस डैशबोर्ड मेरे पास भी है, हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन के पास भी है। मैं देखूंगा कि आप बच्चे क्या कर रहे हैं। The beneficiary decides.
So you're transferring the onus of governance to the people itself. What for you is the biggest challenge? If I may just put it straight up and ask you, across Jammu and Kashmir, like you said, 70% of the population you cater to, your team. What's your biggest challenge going forward, as of now?
Going forward?
As of now and going forward, ji, biggest challenge?
The stabilization of what we have achieved so far. because as I said, this is the last year of our panchayats and rural and urban both local bodies. So now the challenge which was there at that time, having the right kinds of people to hold these positions.
Correct.
That is going to be achieved, and I'm quite sure about it, because when these elections happened, people were skeptical. But now what has happened in these 5 years, people are really very, very positive and they know that now, and everybody says, not only in the administration, but everybody says कि कुछ गलत लोग आ गए थे, लेकिन अब जो आएंगे, they will further take the developmental process to a new.
तो जो एक कोर्स करेक्शन है, आप सोच रहे हैं कोर्स करेक्शन हो और भी सही लोग आए एंड ये सिस्टम थोड़ा और स्टेबलाइज हो जाए.
Qualified youth, qualified women, people leaving private sector and joining the panchayat level institutions. Lovely. That all has happened, and that will increase further.
Fantastic. Abid, for you in tourism?
So, my assessment is that with the numbers of tourism, because of this overall discussion that we had, we will have astronomical numbers in times to come. And the game changer in these numbers will also be the railways, which is now coming, which will be 24 probably. By the end of 24, we expect the railways to cross over from the...
तो ये 2 करोड़ का 10 करोड़ खट से हो जाएगा.
I am very, very confident that we have to be
but are you ready
for
in terms
those
of
numbers. So I have 3 or 4 main
that?
challenges in this sector. Number one, you understand that we are a Himalayan ecology, and so therefore sustainability and ecosystem sustainability is extremely important. And to that end, we are probably addressing it in terms of the homestay policy. Do not build around concrete jungles everywhere in these destinations. Number two,
and restrict the development in each pocket so that it doesn't go crazy.
That is one of the best things that we have in Jammu and Kashmir is this concept of the development authorities, in which you have particular earmarked zones of what you can and what you cannot do. Number two is how to engage and democratize the sector so that the economic spin-offs of the tourism boom go to youngsters. Like I said, 69%
and also every corner it's distributed across
Absolutely.
the UT.
And third, equitable distribution, like you said, of the economic benefits, not just restricted to a few regions in Jammu, few regions in Kashmir. Take it to the remotest of corner. And so what we are probably doing is rural tourism, border tourism, and all those concepts are very, very critical, and we are alive and abreast. Like I said, I would like to probably sum up in this that it's a whole of government approach. So I will very actively be able to do this because everybody in the government, and most importantly, one has to give credit to the people of Jammu and Kashmir also in this, who have been active stakeholders in this growth, in this development of Jammu and Kashmir in the last few years.
True. Sarmat, quickly, and then we'll get to the man who's got to really deliver it on ground. Akshay, yeah.
I think that the challenge here is that do we continue to keep working like this? Like you mentioned, what happens next? I think the people will demand it because the kind of governance that we've had in future, like ma'am mentioned, that people will want that, demand it, and they have now seen what development really means, and whoever is there, their aspirations have gone up. So I think that we have very good things in future for the people. As far as sports are concerned, we have set up many institutes of excellence. Like I said, we have a lot of help from the Sports Authority of India, from the ministry. We have set up in some of the sports in which we excel. We have set up many institutes of excellence, and we are hoping that some of our youngsters who are so talented, I must tell you that all they required is a platform, and all that we gave them was that platform, and see where they have reached. And I'm sure with this platform they will be able to excel not just nationally, not just to their own families proud or Jammu and Kashmir proud, but the entire country proud. And I'm sure in future you'll see many, many great champions who will rise from this. हमारी धरती जो है जम्मू कश्मीर की क्रिकेट में आ रहे हैं, इसके अलावा कई ऐसे स्पोर्ट्स हैं, हमारे वाटर स्पोर्ट्स हैं. We have tremendous opportunity in water sports. Skiing में we've already had a few Olympians.
Yes, I know.
And let me mention about skiing. You know, skiing, we are now the winter capital, sporting capital of the country with the Khelo India Games. और हमारी जो skiing है, हमारी जो winter sports है, वो सिर्फ गुलमर्ग में महदूद नहीं है. Now with the new tunnel that is coming up in Sonmarg is going to be the new Gulmarg. We've already been able to install a ski lift there. Dodpatri का भी जिक्र हुआ जहाँ पे Akshay is in Badgam. Dodpatri में भी already a ski lift has been sanctioned. Absolutely.
We've done Jammu also to make sure that it is equitable.
Similarly in Jammu division,
Sanasar is
Sanasar ski lift is coming up.
One ski
then
lift.
there's Padri.
5 star is coming at Bhadarwa. Lovely. I was about to ask कि वहाँ सब कब infrastructure development हो रहा है.
So just one more thing.
हाँ जी.
To add what Sarmat said, that it's about providing platform. So आपने इन बच्चों के हाथ में पत्थर पकड़ाए तो उन्होंने पत्थर चढ़ा दिए. आपने अब इनको झंडा पकड़ाया तो उन्होंने झंडा उठा लिया. So it's all about how you channelize their energy.
Good. Very well said. Punchline is absolutely and very rightly said, ma'am. Very rightly said. हाँ जी. सर आप क्या पकड़ा रहे हैं बड़गाम में?
Anand,
and what's
I think
the challenge going forward?
First, I'd like to speak on behalf of my colleagues who are in field in Jammu also. अब जो जरूरत है वो जम्मू में जो हमारा तवी रिवर फ्रंट जो एक मेगा प्रोजेक्ट है जो साबरमती के स्टाइल पे बना है उसको कंप्लीट करना है टाइम पे. रियासी में जहाँ पे 80% हमारा जल जीवन मिशन ऑलरेडी पहुंच चुका है उसको जल्द से 100% हर घर जल नल से जल पहुंचाना है. हमारा जो बदरवा डोडा में जो टूरिज्म पहले यहाँ पे लिमिटेड था वहां पे अब टूरिज्म आ रहा है. 5 स्टार होटल की बात हुई, वहां पे अलग अलग ट्रैकिंग कैंप्स चालू हो गए हैं, उनको अपस्केल करना है. हमारा जम्मू एक ऐसा सिटी है, प्रॉब्ली वन ऑफ द ओनली सिटीज वेयर यू हैव IIT also and an IIM also. And it's a rare distinction.
Water sports
and AIMS also. And to have that distinction, to upgrade.
अलग बात है कि जनता ने जनादेश नहीं दिया था, लूट की झूठ की और सौदेबाजी की सरकार है. मध्य प्रदेश में 27 लाख किसानों की कर्ज माफी कमलनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में कांग्रेस की सरकार ने की है और 21 सितंबर 2020 को इस भाजपा की सरकार ने विधानसभा में वो बात स्वीकारी है. 15 साल तक भाजपा की सरकार रही, उसमें केवल 300 रुपए पेंशन मिलती थी, उसमें भी 150 रुपए केंद्र का अंश था. उस पेंशन को कमलनाथ जी जब मुख्यमंत्री बने तो 3 महीनों में ही हमने उसे 600 कर दिया और हम उसे बढ़ाकर 1000 करने वाले थे. अब कमलनाथ जी आएंगे तो कांग्रेस की सरकार आएगी तो हम उसे 1200 करने वाले हैं. तो यहाँ हमने दिखाया ये एक और बड़ी बात है. 18 साल से मध्य प्रदेश में भाजपा की सरकार है तो शिवराज चौहान जी को 18 साल लाडली बहनों की याद नहीं आई. जब कोरोना में जनता संकट में थी तो सरकार ने कोई राहत नहीं दी. अब शिवराज चौहान की सत्ता संकट में है, भाजपा की सत्ता संकट में है तो उन्हें लाडली बहनों की याद आ रही है, राहत याद आ रही है. इसका यह मतलब है कि शिवराज चौहान संकट में है, उनकी सरकार संकट में है, क्योंकि अगर राहत देना होता तो कोरोना में देते.
वी आर जॉइंड बाय बीजेपी एमपी स्पोक्सपर्सन मिस्टर मिलन भार्गव. मिलन जी, पूरे आप भोपाल में घूमे तो एक पोस्टर वॉर्ड टाइप का लगता है. कमलनाथ जी के पोस्टर लगे हैं, बोल रहे हैं 1500 रुपए वुमेन को देंगे, 500 रुपए में सिलेंडर देंगे. एक तरफ पे मोदी जी के पोस्टर लगे हैं कि 1250 दे रहे हैं, 3000 कर देंगे और 450 में सिलेंडर देंगे. तो जनता जो है किसकी बातों पे ज्यादा विश्वास करे? वादे भी एक जैसे ही लग रहे हैं आप दोनों.
देखिए, दोनों में जो मूल अंतर है वो सबसे बड़ा अंतर है, एक सरकार में है और एक विपक्ष में है. जो विपक्ष जो 15 माह पहले 2018 में चुनकर आया था, मध्य प्रदेश की जनता बहुत बेहतर से जानती है. उन्होंने पहले भी वचन किए थे कि ये देंगे, युवाओं को बेरोजगारी 4000 भत्ता देंगे, लेकिन एक भी बेरोजगारी भत्ता नहीं मिला. युवाओं को ढोर चलाने और बैंड बजाने की जो ट्रेनिंग देने की कमलनाथ जी ने बात करी. किसानों को 2 लाख कर्ज माफ करने की कमलनाथ जी ने बात की थी, किसी भी एक किसान का कर्ज माफ नहीं हुआ. राहुल गांधी आए थे उस समय, इस समय उन्होंने प्रियंका गांधी जी को बुलाया और कहा कि नई घोषणाएं करिए, क्योंकि राहुल गांधी जी की घोषणा हम पूरी नहीं कर पाए. और मध्य प्रदेश की बीजेपी सरकार वो है जिसने सारी घोषणाओं को पूरा भी किया और जो वचन हमने कहिए थे, जो घोषणाएं हमने की थी, हमारा शीर्ष नेतृत्व आया माननीय अमित शाह जी के द्वारा रिपोर्ट कार्ड जनता के बीच रखा है. ये हमारी दम है. हम पोस्टर में काम नहीं करते, हम धरातल पर काम करते. वो पोस्टर में कर एक जरूर बहलाकर वोट हत्याना चाह रहा है, लेकिन मध्य प्रदेश की जनता बहुत बेहतर जानती है कि किसने काम किया, किसने नहीं किया.
In Bhopal, in poll-bound Madhya Pradesh, there is a virtual poster war on the streets of the state capital. Behind me, you can see the poster of Mr. Kamal Nath saying that Sashakt Beti Samrit Nari, the Congress big promise of rupees 1500 for women per month and a gas cylinder at rupees 500. But just in the front of it, you will see the posters of the BJP. BJP promising the ongoing Ladli Behna Yojana of the BJP at rupees 1250 per month for women in the state, and with Mr. Big picture of Mr. Modi, the BJP promising that this amount will be increased to rupees 3000 in due course if the BJP comes again to power. Go across Bhopal and you will find these two kind of posters all over the city, some of them juxtaposed against each other, both the parties trying to woo the women in this freebies war, and also the BJP's promise of you'll find
Hello, welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Over a dozen opposition leaders have come out and made a startling allegation that they all got a message from Apple, the phone manufacturer, that their phones were being the subject of a potential state-sponsored hack. Now, naturally, the India Alliance leaders have accused the Modi government of snooping on them, but the government, from the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav downwards, they've rubbished those claims and in fact have written to Apple to join this probe. Apple has also put out a statement separately saying they cannot authenticate